What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be installing spacers on the Supra as well as a stud conversion kit, and it's gonna be a good one. Supra is looking beautiful as always in the garage. I am going to be ceramic coating the car soon because honestly, I just cannot live without having the car ceramic coated. But you guys, let's go ahead and talk about the spacers that I got. So these are all from Keys Motorsports. And we have 3 different sizes of spacers. We have 15s, we have 12s, and we have 10s. So these are by VAC Motorsports, that's who makes them. I'm gonna have all this stuff linked down below for you guys. But these are the spacers. So I did a little bit of research online, you guys, to figure out which spacers to run. Couldn't really decide on the exact one, so Brian over at Keys Motorsports was kind enough to send out 3 to figure out which ones we're going to do, which combination we're going to do. Now, something that I want to note, you guys, I'm obviously on stock suspension. My suspension will be here this week, so we're gonna set this up based on stock suspension, but I am gonna try and line it up so no matter what, when we do actually lower the car, I'm still able to run these. I don't want anything poking out ridiculously far. I would like it to be as flush as possible without hitting the inside of the fender. So this one up here, we're gonna start out with the 10 up front. Honestly, looking at it, I can probably run the 12 up front, and then the back is super sunken in, and I think we're gonna be able to run the 15 all day. If I need to make any adjustments and I think that maybe the 12 isn't big enough for the front, or maybe 15 is too wide for the back, I'll go ahead and switch it up with Brian. I think that honestly the ticket is going to be 12 millimeter up front and 15 in the back, and then we have a 10 millimeter just in case something is too wide, but I don't know, man. I'm looking at this and these are really, really far recessed in, so I think we're gonna be fine. Also, you guys know that I like to run studs on all my cars. It makes your life a lot easier when you are taking off wheels and putting them back on BMWs and Toyota Supras. When you have a stud conversion kit, because you don't have to sit there and try and line up the wheel with the holes and then put in the lug nuts, you just simply slap it onto the lugs. I've ran the Motorsport Hardware stud conversion kit on all of my cars, literally every single one. And they are just amazing. They're really easy to use, very easy to install. It shouldn't take too long. So this time around, I actually went with like a gunmetal, and some of them have like a little bit of a burn look to them. The black was actually out of stock, but Brian did say once the black comes in stock, he's gonna send me a set of those because I do prefer the black. We did these same gunmetal ones on that F30, his mineral gray F30, and they actually looked really nice on that car. Like I said, you guys, these are all gonna be linked down below. All of this stuff will be linked down below for you. Go ahead and hit those links if you want to order any of it. That'll take you right to the product. Keys Motorsports, thank you so much for sending this out. You guys will also see back here, I have some black emblems. I am going to be converting all the emblems on this car to black. It's a little bit of a process because of the stupid way that Toyota decides to do their emblems, but basically you have this like plastic cap and it just gets mauled by everything. It scratches really easy. This is like one of the #1 complaints that people have online, is these caps just scratch really, really easily. And then behind this entire emblem is another black plastic like plate. We're gonna have to actually leave the black plate and then put this badge on top of that plate. It's kind of a weird setup. I hate that Toyota does that. I'm telling you guys, ever since I picked up the Supra, I have never seen more BMW, Z4, Supra, Toyota memes and disses coming my way when I bought this car. It's kind of funny, but I think that this car just has a way of triggering so many people. BMW fanboys, Toyota fanboys, really no one is safe with the Supra. But for what it's worth, you guys, I really am enjoying this car. It's such a great car and it's so fun to drive. Even though it's automatic, it is a blast to drive. So let's go ahead and get this stuff installed, you guys. I'm super excited. This Fitment is hella booty. I have a really nice suspension setup coming this week. Can't wait to install that. Get rid of this wheel gap. Car's coming along. I have a ton of parts in my other garage and it's just gonna be, it's grind season, man. It's time to start modding and get this Supra to where I want it. So let's go ahead and jack up the car and then pull off the wheels and we'll take a look at what we're dealing with, make sure everything is clean. If it's not, I'll use some anti-seize lubricant, maybe some brushes to clean it up. But I think this car only has 7,000 miles on it. It's pretty new. I think we're gonna be just fine. Also, you guys, I get a lot of people that ask about the tools I use. I'm gonna link all this stuff down below as well. These really just make the job 10 times easier. So I try to find tools that are just like the best bang for the buck. So everything looks really good here. I mean, this brake is not really that old, so I'm not surprised. Obviously have the nice big old front caliper. I do have a black Supra decal coming for this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ceramic coat these, so it's just really easy to keep them clean. I'm actually surprised at how well they're staying clean as is, but everything looks super clean here. Not really surprised. This whole install here, oh, well, look at that. This entire install here is really, really easy, you guys. But basically the way that we're gonna go about doing this is using a little bit of Loctite on the actual studs when we put them in, and then we're gonna torque them down to, I believe it's 20 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna look that up just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 20 foot-pounds of torque, and you'll see a number right here that'll say, yes, it is 20 foot-pounds, or no, John's an idiot and it's not 20 foot-pounds. We will use this 5mm Allen socket, use our torque wrench. We'll go ahead and lock this bad girl down. It's really, really simple, you guys, but it just makes such a big difference when you are putting on and taking off your wheels. Also, I think it looks kind of cool. So let's go ahead and start applying the Loctite to each one of these, slap them in there, torque it down, and then I will try out spacers. Also, before we get into that, I am a horrible human being because I completely forgot that Tommy sent me splash guards. I'm really sorry, I've been out of town and my brain is all over the place. But Tommy was kind enough, you guys, to send me splash guards, instructions, screws, everything for the Supra. Tommy, thank you so much. This car is notorious for spraying everything up and down the sides of this car. You guys, usually I run these on all my BMWs, as you've seen before. We have those big old wide hips. Those tires stick out and they just splash rocks and crap all over the side of your car. Those splash guards, man, they make a huge difference, and they're very minimal. Like, you can hardly even tell that they're on the car. That's why I like them. So they really don't change the look of the car too much, but they are super functional. I know that splash guards are not for everybody, and that's completely fine, but in this case, I prefer to run them because of their functionality. Even if you don't like the way they look, you can't say that these aren't worth protecting your paint. In my opinion, a $50,000 car, I'd much rather protect the paint and have these on the car than not, because I don't think they look cool. But in my case, I actually think they look pretty cool, so it's a win-win for me. If you guys are interested in a set of these for your Supra or BMW, I'll have Tommy's info linked down below. Go ahead and DM him. So this will also be part of this install. I just completely forgot about it in the beginning because I have been doing way too much at once. All right, let's get these studs on. The stud portion is done. It's that simple. I know I mentioned I got a decal coming for this. In the future, I would like to upgrade these to like a Stop Tech or a Brembo Big Brake or something like that, just because the rear one looks really puny, and once you put like a nice set of wheels on here, as cool as this is having a nice big red brake, it doesn't look terrible, but I would much prefer that we have some nice rotors and maybe like Stop Tech or something a little more pleasing on the eyes, but this doesn't look bad at all. So these are all torqued down, 25 foot-pounds of torque all the way across, got Loctite in it. We're good on that portion, that's done. Let's go ahead and throw the spacer on, which is obviously really simple. On the front, we're gonna do the 12s. So we'll run 12 on the front for now. These are really light. Wow, super light. And these are hub-centric spacers, by the way. There you go. So they should just slide on like that. And these are the 12s on the front, and then we're gonna try out the 15s on the rear. I think that is gonna be the ticket. If these are too much, then we can try out the 10s, but I think honestly we're gonna be fine with 12s. And then once we actually order our new wheel set, we'll have them fit perfectly with the correct offset so we don't have to run any spacers. That's always ideal, but you know, with stock wheels, can't really do that. I always like to play it a little bit safe when running spacers, because when we do drop the car, last thing I want is to have, you know, the tire hitting the fender well. So it feels like we have a lot of room in here though, so we should be okay. All right, so looking at Mr. TLG stuff here, he actually has a bunch of different stuff in here. We're not gonna use all of it, that's for sure. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we're dealing with. this should be pretty easy. I've done a couple of these in my day, but that's what we're looking at. I mean, super, super minimal. You guys can see how they stick out just a little bit. These are actually gonna be great, but these are gonna make such a big difference when driving around, especially on a black car, you guys. Like this. It's hard to keep a black car clean. If you know, you know. But I do a pretty good job at keeping my cars clean, so this shouldn't be the worst, especially after we ceramic coat it and everything. This car is gonna be pretty easy to keep clean. It is garage kept and it will be ceramic coated, so. But this is just gonna help you guys. And the body lines on this thing, man, it protrudes out in the middle a little bit. It's got these wide hips. So many rocks come up from the front. So many rocks come up from the back. I just think that these are super necessary. They were super necessary on the M2 and the M3. It really made a big difference when it came to the spray up from the sides. So looks like these are like really, really easy to put on. We're gonna use this factory guy. We'll pop this one out, pop that one out. And then the third one, I think it's the same thing. Factory hole right here. Just go ahead and pop it out. All three of them should just go right in. So let's go ahead and pop these three out and then throw in some new plugs and we should be good. So there we go. Tommy supplies these little push plugs and you just take out the old ones, really easy. Use a screwdriver and a hammer or whatever to pop them out and then pop in the new ones. Really good. And that should be enough to really cover the entire side. It's about 1 inch down here that we have. It gaps down just a little bit too. Also leaves room for carbon side skirt extensions, stuff like that. Looks good. Let's go ahead and throw the wheel on. The joys of having a stud conversion. So much easier. A, looks 10 times cooler. B, so much more functional. Be tight. It's gonna be tight. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. I think we'll be okay with 12s. I think we'll be okay with 12s. But if not, we have 10s. All right, so same process for the back. I'm gonna go ahead and take the wheel off, slap all that on. I'll let you know if anything changes with the way I put in these splash guards, but it looks like for the back, it's probably gonna be some self-tapping screws. Might use some of these factory bolts. Also, you know I had to do it to them. Now that it's been in my possession, there's even more BMW stuff on this car. Looks good. Okay, so got this guy here. Get set up like that, maybe? Or like that. I think that's how we'll have it set up. Looks a little bit awkward on the inside, but once you guys see it with the wheel on, it'll make a lot more sense. So check this out. Tommy gave me these guys, really long screws with a black top. I just used those. I just used 2 of those because the factory ones are too short. These little 8mm, they're just too short once you put this on, but I just used 2 of them and like, dude, that's all I need. I really don't need, I think anything else would just be overkill. And it just hangs off like that. It's gonna protect everything back here. I love how he already has the holes piloted, so you know exactly where to put it. Super easy, it's like foolproof, you really can't screw it up. So let's go ahead and throw the wheel back on, and I think we're good. I think that's all we need. So Tommy sent me a bunch of different screws just because we weren't quite sure which ones to use. But T-Bone, if you're watching this video, man, I know you're watching. These are the ones we need. Super long, they worked right into the factory holes. I just used 2 of them, that's all you need. You could put more in if you want, but really it's not necessary. Those 2 are just fine, the thing's locked on there. All right, throw the wheel back on. See how we're looking with the 12mm up front. 15 in the back. I think we're good. All right, I know I didn't show it, but you guys always make sure that you're torquing down your lug nuts. Just wanna say that, so we all know. But look at the fitment, you guys, like, damn. It looks awful with the ride height right now. I know. I hear you guys screaming in the comments, John, lower your core. Yeah. We'll get to it. But look at how flush it is. super flush. I think we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be okay with this. It's just a tiny bit of poke. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So once we actually lower it, then we'll make the ultimate decision. But right now, 12 millimeter seems fine. I'm not gonna have any issues on stock suspension. It's way too high up. Back is meaty, bro. Meat. Tiniest bit of poke. But these tires, just like the 437Ms and the Super Sports that I had on the M2, they were super stretched. And these ones are pretty stretched as well. I think you're gonna be able to get away with this setup because really, I've got a lot of room to go. And these are gonna tuck just fine. So this looks good. 15 millimeter on the back, 12 millimeter on the front. Got the studs. Oh, dude, the TLG flaps, bro. I just love them. I love them. On a black car, you can hardly even tell they're there. Looks super factory. Crazy easy to install. Dude, gains, boys and girls, gains today. I'm gonna go ahead and just knock out this side and then we'll pull the car out. They make a big difference. I mean, look at how sunken in it is on this side. The front is really bad. Like the front is, front, what wheels, bruh? The front is terrible. It looks a lot better with the spacers. It's amazing what just like simple spacers can do for the way that your car looks. Like if you have stock wheels and a suspension and you're like, damn, I just can't get that look. Spacers, bro, spacers. Wow, big difference. All right, let me knock out this side and pull the car out. That black when it's clean though. Oh, it looks so good. So that's the setup, you guys, with the Tommy L Garage splash guards. Looks super clean. You guys have seen me do these a million times. Spacer setup is 15 millimeter in the back, 12 millimeter in the front. I think honestly, it's perfect for right now. It looks really, really good. And then the studs. I think I'm gonna clean up some of this like rust and shit back here too, just to make it cleaner. But I think like long-term goal, I'd like to get a big brake kit. I kind of like the gunmetal, man. It grew on me. I thought it wasn't gonna look that good, but I like it. It's hard to even tell anyways, they're so minimal. All right, so there you guys have it. We got the spacers, 12 millimeter front, 15 millimeter on the rear. I'm gonna wait until we drop the car to really make the final decision, but I think that this is gonna work regardless of whatever we do. It looks good. It looks like we have enough room to tuck tire. And then obviously the stud conversion kit, must have for every car. In my opinion, one of the most important things you can do to the car. For me personally, I'm always taking these wheels off and like putting new ones on and working on the car. It just makes life so much easier to have stud conversion. And I think the studs look a lot better, so. And then of course the Tommy L Garage splash guards look amazing. I'm gonna leave all of the links, all of the info down in the description, you guys. Anyways guys, I appreciate your support so much. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, comment down below, like this video, hit that bell notification. Just like that, this video's over. We're out. Peace.